awareness on activities of what they call the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. It's within the EFCC. Daniel Issei joins us this morning. He's Acting Director, Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. He joins us from our studios in Abuja. Thank you so much, Mr. Issei, for joining us this morning. Perhaps there is a need for us to even understand what we're talking about here. My colleague here calls your unit SCUML. But I don't even know how she came up with that one. But tell me, how did it come up? What necessitated setting up SCUML?
Thank you and good morning. SCUML was created in 2005, and it was created because there was a need to have a framework to supervise certain businesses and professions. And this is the global standard. The global standard, by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, is one that requires that countries should have a framework for the supervision of certain professions and businesses that could be used as conduits or vehicles for money laundering or terrorist financing. And of these businesses, you have dealers in real estate, you have private legal practitioners and notaries, you have casino operators, you have construction companies, you have supermarkets, you have dealers in precious metals and stones, you have non-profit organizations that include faith-based organizations and non-governmental organizations. All of these have been put together and domesticated under our law, under Section 25 of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended, which demands that these entities must register with the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering and must make returns as to transactions that meet certain criteria. So that is, in summary, what the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering is about. And it's a department domiciled within the EFCC. And other than registering these entities, we equally go out to ensure compliance, that safeguards are put in place in this business environment to ensure that they are not actually facilitating or making themselves available for money laundering. As we speak, some of our officers will be visiting a whole lot of entities, in line with our mandate to ensure that designated non-financial institutions render the necessary reports to EFCC and they don't make themselves available to be used for the purposes of money laundering.
Mr. Issei, is there a lot of laundering going on in our society?
Yes, from what we see, we still see that a lot of people transact in cash. They transact in cash, huge sums of money, particularly in the real estate sector, and that is contrary to the law. So transacting in cash portends that there is a possibility for money laundering because cash transaction takes away traceability. So if you are able to take out the traceability, you are trying to create a room for money laundering. So by what we see in terms of high volume transaction, in terms of third-party transaction, in terms of not having proper record keeping in certain transactions, I could say that from the last risk assessment we did in Nigeria in 2016, the records proved that there is a high level of laundering activities still taking place in the country.
Okay. We saw the DG, I think it was early this week or last week, saying that EFCC was going to focus on the estate development, real estate sector, because you all have seen that a lot of money is moving around in that sector, which is not clean money. How did you come to that conclusion?
Like I said, this is not just by way of guesswork. A whole lot of activities would point to that. In 2016, a risk assessment was conducted, and the real estate sector was revealed or was shown to be the most vulnerable. And ever since, we have equally been seeing that most of these dealers in real estate are still practicing certain things that shows that they are not interested, or that shows that most of them are not giving full disclosure as to the real buyers of this property. So from what we've been seeing since we did the last risk assessment, it points to the fact that that sector needs a proper looking. So we need to do a proper looking into what is happening there. We need to check transaction records. We need to check the issues of KYC. These people that are coming to buy property, do you identify them? Do you verify them? Are you sure they are not being used as fronts? And how do they make payment? Do they make payment by way of cash? Do they make payment through BDCs or through other third parties? So the chairman's statement is not uninformed. It is clearly that that sector needs a proper look-in, and that is what the EFCC is focusing on.
Well, you know what's also interesting, because I see a list of quite a number, more than 20 designated non-financial institutions. The number one on the list is dealers in jewelry. The first question that comes to my mind is, do they even know that they are under the watchful eyes of SCUML, your unit? So tell us, if you can just tell us a little more about these non-designated financial institutions. I'm sure right now some of them are like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? So tell us about how it hits them.
Okay, actually, there's a bit of knowledge across the DNFIs, which we call the designated non-financial institution. Just like I said, we have dealers in jewelries, we have casino operators, we have construction companies, we have the real estate dealers, we have the supermarket, we have accounting firm, audit firm, and consulting firm. So a range of businesses and professions, maybe between 19 to 21. So sometimes we deal with them through what we call the self-regulatory bodies or self-regulatory organization. So you were specific about dealers in jewelries. I can tell you that, yes, there are trade associations. So we work through trade associations to reach out to them. So we create awareness by having meetings with them, by having trainings with them, by having even radio messages and jingles to create the necessary awareness. And I can tell you that in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we'll be having a partnership on the field with the Presidential Initiative for Artisanal Mining, the PAGMI. And this is to create awareness for those who are dealing in jewelries and gold. So we have, the level of awareness needs a beef up, and we are not relenting on that. We need to create greater opportunity for everybody to know about what designated non-financial institution is all about, what their responsibility is all about by way of the law, and what sanctions are available where they do not do what is required of them by law.
Well, it's also interesting. I mean, as I said, I saw the list, and I got to be honest, it's quite intimidating, because on that list that we have here, number 21 is practitioners of mechanized farming. And I'm pretty sure they're hardly aware that there is such a unit in the EFCC as designated non-financial institutions. And you have said that there is a lot of education to go into that. But then you also say that there is a need for them to register, certify, to register with your unit. So tell us about that one. Why is it necessary for them to be aware of the need, and how does the registration work?
Well, the fight against money laundering is not a one-agency affair. So in 2012, the Central Bank of Nigeria demanded that all money deposit banks should look through their records, and where they have designated non-financial institutions operating in their banks, they must show evidence of registration with SCUML. So in other words, for you to continue to enjoy your banking services, you have to show that you have registered with SCUML and you have a valid certificate from SCUML. So for the registration, whether mechanized farming is designated as a designated non-financial institution, and a couple of them have come to SCUML, they have registered, they have certificates. So once you come within the bracket of the DNFIs, you go to the SCUML website. There is a registration portal there, and you click on the registration portal, you click on online registration. So depending on the nature of your business, the requirement may vary. So all that is required of you is to complete that form, upload the necessary document, the registration will be processed, and approval will be given, and you'll be contacted to come pick up your certificate on the area you have designated as your pickup points. So this is not as if it's new. It's been in existence since 2005. As at the last count, we have over 105,000 designated non-financial institutions registered with SCUML.
Mr. I say, still on this DNFIs, I am sure that a lot of them are not even aware that they're supposed to register with you. How much campaign are you carrying out to make them aware that if they are operating, that they're actually breaking the law?
Yeah, we are embarking on an aggressive campaign. There's a renewed energy, particularly with the new leadership in the EFCC, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here with you this morning to speak about the Special Control Unit against money laundering. So we have various ways we are trying to reach out to them. We have radio programs. We even have radio programs being translated to local languages, including Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and Pidgin English. And this is to drive the message down to the grassroots, that they should know about the Special Control Unit against money laundering in EFCC, the need for them to register, and the need for them to send in the necessary report, such that they don't fall, run foul of the law and face the consequential sanctions that is supposed to come out where you don't make the necessary report. So we'll keep doing this. It's not going to be a one-off. It's something that we'll continue to do from time to time. So we are not going to sit back and assume that people know about Special Control Unit against money laundering without, embarking on a necessary campaign. And that is an ongoing process.
We understand that some of them are complaining that it takes forever for their licenses or their permits to come out. What's the reason for that? Oh, in fact, is that true at all?
I can't hear you.
Okay. I said some people who have even tried to register have complained that it takes a long time for their permits to come to them from SCUML. First of all, is that true? And if so, why is that the case? Why does it take so long for their permits to come out?
Well, I would actually say that's not exactly the case. Some make an applications. The applications do not come with the necessary requirements. So on that basis, the applications are rejected. And a notice of rejection is usually sent to their email bosses. If they look up their email bosses, they will see that the application is rejected and the reason for the rejection. For those who have done the needed thing by completing the form, uploading necessary documents, the application is usually processed, and within a space of 5 to 10 days, these certificates are ready. So there's actually no point to say that, oh, there's an unusual delay. No, it's either you are not aware that you have not looked at your email box that you have put in your application form to tell you that, yes, your application was rejected on account of maybe not having the necessary qualifying proficiency certificate, such that the reviewing officer would not approve unless and until all the required documents are uploaded. And not just uploaded, they are uploaded and legible for them to look at it clearly and come to a conclusion. So for those that have followed it the way it is required, it takes not more than 2 weeks that your certificate will be ready. And it's absolutely free because we call you and let you know that your certificate is free and you should go to your preferred area of pickup to go pick up the certificate. And it has always worked in that manner.
Okay. What does a company require to get a license to operate?
All the company requires is to show that it has a registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission. It has a TIN number. Then if you are into construction, you have to show that at least you have some measure of proficiency. If you're into real estate, you have to show that you have some association, maybe with REDA, the Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria, such that we can put you into a cluster and reach out to you through the necessary self-regulatory body. So if you put all of these documents together, and it is within the size of 2 MB, it's accepted. It is processed and it's accepted. And once it's accepted, it is approved. And it does not take more than 2 weeks. This certificate is, on a daily basis, we sign not less than 300 to 400 certificates because they come in numbers. On a daily basis, Nigerians are applying. The knowledge is gaining grounds. And we don't delay the processing and approval. And like I said before, it is free. So at no cost, to the DNFI, you apply, you get processed, you get approved. Your certificate, you go to your pickup points, and you pick it. And we have presence in all of these EFCC locations.
Is there a limit to financial investment of any of these units under the radar?
I didn't really get the question. You said financial investment
is there a
in terms of
financial
what?
limit to how much any of these DNFIs can invest in their various sectors? Is there a financial threshold that they cannot come above?
No, there's actually no limit for investment. But what the law says, that if you have a transaction that is of 5 million, you make a report to NFIU. To SCUML. If you have a transaction that is of 10 million, you make a report to SCUML. If you have a transaction, irrespective of the threshold, whether it is 1 naira, whether it is 2 naira, and you have come to a reasonable conclusion that the transaction is suspicious, that report must be generated and sent to NFIU, because that is what we call suspicious transaction report. And that particular report goes to NFIU. The currency transaction report, the cash-based transaction report, they come to SCUML. And these reports are analyzed. And where infractions are seen, or where interesting possible criminal trends are seen, they are escalated for further investigation by the EFCC operation and possible prosecution.
Okay. Is there a likelihood, because some would feel where micro businesses and there's a possibility that, this kind of regulation, quote unquote, could frustrate, small businesses? Is there any chance that can happen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do not think so. The regulation is part of the global demand. So it's like Nigeria opening up its space for global investment, for attracting foreign direct investment, to show that we are compliant to what is demanded across the globe. So for me, it is not a suppressive regulation. It's actually a regulation that should open up the space. And for the small and medium enterprises, businesses, I do not think, yes, we are shrinking the space, we are over-regulating them. We're just saying that, yes, you have to be a player in the fight against money laundering. You have a responsibility under the law. So, but if you do not meet up with this responsibility, there are available sanctions. And these sanctions can be by way of just warning, by revocation of license, or payment of 250,000 each day. So there are a range of sanctions that could be meted out. But if we, as a country, we are head out to be one country that is focused on the fight against money laundering, you can be sure that this will impact more in our overall economy, because there will be stronger international investment, foreign investment. Our correspondent banking will be strengthened, and jobs will be created. So in other words, we are not over-regulating, we are not creating any bottleneck or anything that would disturb or distort business.
Mr. Issei, you mentioned a fine just now. You mentioned a figure. That's not a small amount of money for a small-scale industry. 250,000 naira a day?
Yes, but that's what the law says. Like I said, there's a range of sanctions. So you review a case, you look at it, how have they been inspected? Is there a repeated inspection? Is it that there has been deliberate refusal on the part of the DNFI not to file the report? Do we see transactions that actually portend or that speaks to the fact that they are being used as a vehicle for money laundering? So if you look at view the entire case, I would think that you deserve to be sanctioned for 250,000 for each day that you never send a report. So we apply it. But where we think you're a first-timer, you know little or nothing about your obligation, you just registered, then it could be a warning letter.
Okay.
But where we think that you have been in the business, you are deliberately refusing to do what you're supposed to do, the EFCC will have no option than to meet out the sanction.
Mr. Issei, very quickly, just as briefly as you can, you mentioned monitoring earlier. And I was just wondering how you monitor these DNFIs. How would you, for instance, monitor a car dealership? Very quickly, please.
Okay. Like I said, some of these trade associations, we have umbrella body. But we have registered car dealership within our database. We have their office location. We do letters of compliance inspection to them. We go to them ask for the necessary information from them, and check their transactions, check for their receipts. So that's how we go about it. We do what we call offsite. We review transactions from the back end, then we isolate those that we needed to look into more deeply, and we visit their offices. So that is the process. And as we speak, we are embarking on that. So our officers will be across the country, going to NGOs, going to car dealership, going to construction companies, going to the real estate sector for what we call on-site inspection. So we have off-site, we have on-site, and we have what we call spot checks. Without even notifying you, based on what we have at our disposal, you can come to your place of business and carry out the inspection.
Well, it's very, very interesting. I can see you have about 14 cities that the SCUML offices are. By the way, thank you for also confirming that my colleague here has been looking in the crystal ball to know exactly how the name of your unit is pronounced. Daniel says, Acting Director, Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCUML of the EFCC. Thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're back right after now for something wealth-related. Stay with us.